Well, hey guys, what's up? It's your boy AI Legends, and today I shall be uploading the next part of What If Naruto Had Absolute Chakra. And I hope that you guys will like this series a lot, as this series is getting a lot of support, and I'm really happy about it. And if you guys support it like this, and I will complete this series as quick as possible. And yeah, guys, for the next part, the like goal is going to be, let's see, 400 likes, and for the comments it is going to be 170 comments. Do that and I shall upload the next part as quick as possible. And yeah guys, before starting this video, I would like to make a request to all of you guys who are watching this video to come on guys, please subscribe to my channel. It will help me a lot. If you guys are new to this channel, or if you guys have not subscribed yet, I'm quite near to 7k. There are around, I think, 20 subscribers left, and if you guys subscribe to this channel, it will help me a lot. So yeah guys, please do so, and I will upload the next part as quick as possible. And the other series, just tell me in the comment section if you guys want me to continue that series, Went Back in Time and Betrayed, or it could be a one shot as well. It does not matter, but it only depends on you guys. So tell me in comment that as well. So without any further ado, let us start our video. Last time, well, sorry guys about it, as that stupid apps, I don't know, even I have blocked the notification, but there are some apps who still give us the notification, though I'm going to delete that stupid app after this. So without any further ado, let us start our video. Last time we left off as, let's see, yeah, it was the Zabuza mission, in which the Team 7 was previously sent on, but seeing that Zabuza and his two subordinates were way too much for them to handle, as Kushina was no longer an S-rank shinobi, as she, all of this time, not training or not getting missions for years, it really paid off. You can say, rub it off on her. So, as well as Kakashi being in the, not being in the Ambu and being lazy, was still an A-rank shinobi. So, both of them were not getting, so you can say, farewell against Zabuza, who was really a lot stronger than his original canon self, having two of the apprentices with him, as well as they were easily able to take down Menma and Mito in the ice mirrors, even though Menma and Mito tried to use the 90th chakra, but it was not working thanks to them using the Sen bonds and knocking both of them as quick as possible, knowing that both of them are actually Jinchurikis, and it will not be good for them if they use the power of the Nine Tails against them. So Haku, along with his brother, quickly knocked both of them out, as Zabuza was able to keep up against Kakashi as well as Kushina at the same time, keeping Menma and Mito, you can say, at the bay, distracting both of them at the same time, as well as Haku and his brother, or rather sister if you want to say that, was simply helping both of them, because I'm not going to make a ship, so I do not care here. But in the end, when Itachi along with his team arrived, Zabuza did not stand a chance whatsoever, though Menma and Mito still got knocked out thanks to the mirror. But Naruto got very angry when Haku tried to attack Sasuke, or many people told me that it should be Kayumi, so I'm going to name her Kayumi again, as Kayumi got knocked out, which made Naruto pretty angry, as he burst his chakra as it could be fed across all the wave country, as this chakra was still holding back, but still it burst at once, even you can say sending Zabuza flying, as Naruto punched Haku on his face, sending him flying into his ice mirrors, breaking through and even sending it inside of the mirrors of his brother, slamming both of them together, as all three of them, or rather two of them, slammed into Zabuza, sending him flying, as Naruto released a stream of fire which was so hard as it was almost on the border of white, as well as with Zabuza it was, you know guys, what was his name again, Raymond was also there. Well guys, you guys can see it in the previous part. I'm not going to explain it again, as once I started to explain it always takes a lot of time. Yeah guys, that was the last part, but in the end Team Naruto along with Team 7 still won. And now let us start our video from here on, as Zabuza along with Haku and his brother were simply tied down thanks to the chakra seals that were placed upon them, which Kushina provided, as they were being interrogated, as Naruto strode in front of them and said, well, while in this fight, I'm pretty angry about that you hurt my comrade, by looking towards Haku, who simply looked down, telling him that how it was pretty important for their mission and he did not want to kill either of them, which Naruto noticed. He had the chance to kill Menma and Mito, but he did not, only knock them out, seeing that how good of a heart Haku, as well as his brother, actually has, as Naruto simply sighed and said, well, I could also feel some intentions that were coming from you in the battle. But why do you guys even do that? As both of them said, we are tools for Lord Zabuza to use, and we are nothing more than that. As Naruto narrowed his eyes towards Zabuza, but then he felt the emotions of Zabuza, as he felt a bit of regret and care for both of the brothers. As Naruto simply shook his head and said, well, Zabuza, so why do you guys even do that? And why are you guys a rogue shinobi to begin with? As Zabuza looked towards Naruto and narrowed his eyes and said, well, it does not matter, you little brat. We are rogue shinobi and we are being hunted. That this is what you want to hear? Huh. Well, this is a story of all the rogue shinobi, so it does not matter to begin with. As Naruto said, Kiri, isn't that the name of your village, huh? As Zabuza simply, you can say, did not reply, only narrowed his eyes towards Naruto and said, well, I did heard about the bloodline purge in it, and seeing these two brothers from the Yuki clan, if I'm not mistaken. As Haku said, yeah, we are from the Yuki clan. As Naruto said, yeah, I met one of them during my travels. As both Haku, along with his brothers, eyes widened as they looked towards him. What? You met a Yuki clan member? As Naruto said, yeah, but he was on the, you can say, verge of death, so it does not matter. He died, and I buried him. As both of them simply looked down, as they thought that one of their clan member had actually survived. But Naruto shook his head and said, well, he did gifted me this. As Naruto put his hand upward, and then the ice spike started to appear in his hand as both Haku, along with his brothers, eyes widened. Even Zabuza was shocked as Haku said, what? You have Yuki bloodline? Are you a Yuki? As Naruto simply laughed and said, well, I do have your bloodline, but I'm not from the Yuki clan to begin with, but it does not matter. Well, I was saying that. Isn't it the fourth Mizukage who did it? Who did the bloodline purge? As Zabuza said, what does it matter to you, you little brat? As Naruto put her hand towards Zabuza and said, well, before coming to this mission, I heard news that, oh, the rebellion forces have actually won against the 4th Mizukage, and they have already chosen the 5th Mizukage, named by a woman, Mei Terumi. As Zabuza's eyes widened as he said, what? The rebellions, they have won? But how? As Naruto said, well, I do not know about it, but judging by your expression, I can tell that you know about this lady, Mei Terumi, didn't you? As Zabuza shook his head and said, yeah, I know about her. She is an old friend of mine. As Naruto said, huh, so the demon of the mist does have friends. As Zabuza narrowed his eyes towards Naruto. As Naruto said, well, if the village has taken over by your friend, then you can return back to the village and there is no need for you to remain a missing nin. As Zabuza, along with Haku and his brothers' eyes widened, it means that they could go back to their home. It's finally saved. The rebellion has won. As Zabuza could not even imagine as how this was the only question in his head. He was out here only because he wanted the money and the support of the different shinobis, so one day he could actually go back to the rebellions to provide the support. But now the rebellion has already won. Does he even deserve to go back to the village? The village he left? Will the rebellion forces who have finally won will even accept him? All of these thoughts were simply going through his head as Naruto was about to speak something, but then he narrowed his eyes as he said, alright guys. As he looked back as Kakashi and everyone was still out as Naruto went out. As Zabuza said, hey brat, where are you going? As Naruto said, well, we have company. They are shinobis, I can tell. They are coming to this direction pretty fast. As Zabuza only looked towards Naruto. As Naruto said, well, we have already taken care of Gato, so who this guy could actually be? As he went out, as he looked towards Kakashi, who was out reading his book. As Naruto said, Kakashi sensei, could you feel it? As Kakashi looked towards Naruto, what about it, Naruto? As Naruto said, just come out. As all of them started to follow as Itachi stood look towards Naruto. What about it, Naruto? As Naruto said, well, I have already gathered a bit of information from them, but that is not the main concern right now. I could feel some shinobis are coming towards here. As Itachi looked towards Naruto for some time and then started to expand his senses as he finally picked it up as well. As for Kushina, who was a natural sensor, also was pretty surprised when Naruto was able to pick up on such chakra signatures. As now she could also feel it as all of them went out and then several shinobis landed as they were ambushed from Kiri. As one of the ambus stood up and said, well, you are the shinobis from Konoha, aren't you? As Itachi speak up, yeah, we are from the Konoha. What business do you have here? You are from Kiri. if I'm not mistaken, as the Ambu nodded and said, well, we have been given information that Zabuza has been spotted in the Wave Country. We are here to get him. As Naruto speak up, and what business do you have with Zabuza? As the Kiri shinobi looked towards him for some time, narrowing his eyes towards him, and shook his head and said, well, I presume that he's against you in some mission, has it not? As Naruto said, well, it does not matter. What do you want from Zabuza? As one of the shinobi speak out, well, we only want him back in our village under the order of our new Mizukage. She wants him to join the village once again. As Naruto had a smile on his face and said, well, I'll be getting Zabuza. As Itachi was about to stop him, but then Naruto simply vanished into butterflies and once again came in the room of Zabuza. As Zabuza looked towards Naruto, and Naruto said, well, your old friend has sent some shinobis to retrieve you back in the village. As Zabuza's eyes widened, as Naruto said, what do you say, huh? Could it be a trap? Or your friend really cares about you? As Zabuza looked around and said, well, we did had a small relation with May in the past, thinking in the past, as Naruto simply looked towards Zabuza with an indifference look, as Zabuza had a small blush and simply shook it off and said, well, she does care for me in the past, so I don't think that it would be a trap, but I don't think that I will deserve to go back to the village. As Naruto said, well, explain it to your new comrades which are outside, so bring it on. As Naruto put a hand in the Zabuza and released the sails and then cinching all three of them outside, as all the Ambus were surprised when Naruto arrived with Zabuza, as one of the Ambu was ready to attack Naruto, thinking that they have captured Zabuza or they are going to fight him or something like it, but then Zabuza looked towards him and pointed a hand towards him, stopping him, as he said, well, brat, are you sure about it? I attacked you guys, and then all the things which actually happened. My subordinates even attacked your siblings. As Naruto shook his head and said, well, it does not matter. As Menma said, it does matter, you damn brat. But Naruto simply ignored him, as he said, well, go ask things, huh? As Zabuza looked towards him, so may send you here. As Ambu kneeled before Zabuza, well, Lord Zabuza, we are sent here under the order of 5th Mizukage, May Terumi. She has asked you to return back to the village and join the forces and train the new 7 deadly ninja swordsmen of the mist. As Zabuza looked down and said, well, I only came outside of the village so that I could get support for the rebellion forces. I never thought that they would be able to win the war. As the Ambu nodded and said, well, we know, Lord Zabuza, and the support you sent us was really helpful. As Zabuza nodded and said, well, to be honest, I do not deserve to go back to the village. As Ambu gave him a scroll, as Zabuza was surprised as he opened it, as they was reading, as it was from Mate Rumi, telling him that how he has been requested back to the village, and if he does not come back, she will met his balls. As Zabuza got pale at that and said, alright, I'll be going back. As for Haku and his brother, who cares about the name? Yeah, guys, if you guys want to give him a name, then it is up to you, though it does not matter to me. As there was, you can say, a final goodbye or things like that, and finally they left off, as I'm going to continue the series as quick as possible to reach the Chunin exams, as this whole talking about things, as it always gets a bit boring, so allow me to continue. As they were finally off, as Itachi looked towards Naruto and smiled, knowing that his student has a way of changing people, as even Haku as well as his brother thanked Naruto a lot, telling him that how if he has a bloodline, then they will consider him like a brother to them. As Naruto only smiled at both of them, and then both of them gave Naruto a huge hug, and then both of them simply went off, while on the other hand, Kushina had sorrow in her eyes, seeing that how all three of them hugged each other, as she was wondering if Menma, Mito and Naruto will ever be like it, as consider each other true siblings, as she only looked towards Menma and Mito, as both of them were simply glaring at Naruto, releasing a bit of small amount of killing intact towards Naruto, who was simply ignoring it. As Kushina only sighed at that. All of this time she was trying her best to go near to her son, but it was to no avail, as it was not working whatsoever, as which really made Kushina a lot sad. Now let us go back to the Hidden Leaf Village. And now let us go back to the village, as Kushina arrived along with the whole team and gave the reports, as she pointed out something, as she said, Minato, I want to tell you something, as Jiraiya and Tsunade also arrived, wondering about the report of Menma and Mito, as all of them simply left off, as Kushina speak out, well, Minato, I wanted to explain something to you about Naruto. As Minato said, what? Did you make any progress getting near to him or the siblings? As Minato simply sighed and said, well, Menma and Mito's attitude is really bad towards Naruto. They even want to kill him and telling him that how he should have been dead as Minato only had a frown on his face, while on the other hand Tsunade was pretty surprised, while on the other hand Jiraiya was not giving attention towards it, as he said, well, it's about Naruto. As Minato said, what about him now? As Kushina said, well, he used Ice style, as well as when he released chakra in the bridge, it was so much, it even surpassed a tail beast, I could easily tell. As Minato's eyes widened, what? His chakra surpassed a tail beast? What are you talking about, Kushina? And Ice style? What is that now? As Kushina said, well, allow me to explain it to you. As she started to give the report when an enormous amount of chakra was felt across the whole wave country, as well as how much it actually was, putting all the shinobis on their knees, as it was that pressure, and with a single punch, he sent the shinobi flying and defeated all of three shinobi at once and defeated and even killed off the remaining guy. It was because of him he got so weak and Kakashi only finished him off. While on the other hand, Tsunade and Minato were impressed as Jiraiya speak up. What? How could this even be, Kushina? You must not be overthinking about it. Yeah, it could be the only logical explanation about it. He cannot be this strong. He was not trained by anyone. While on the other hand, if it was Menma and Mito, I would have believed it without a second thought, as all three of them only looked towards Jiraiya as if he was crazy. As Jiraiya said, what? As Menma and Mito are trained by us, they are so strong. There could be no way that Naruto is stronger than both of them. And you're telling me that Ramin was there. He was the S-rank shinobi. There's no way that Naruto could actually defeat him. As Kushina sighed and said, well, Jiraiya, right now I do not have time for your obsession over the siblings. The report I'm giving you is accurate, as well as the ice child is a bloodline of the Yuki clan, and he was able to make the ice spear and all. Even though he was training, he did not notice me, but I was watching him and he did use the ice style against Menma. Have you forgotten it? As all three of them had a realization, yeah, they never thought about it. It was the ice spear when he used against Menma during the fight, but they thought that it was only combination of water and wind. As Naruto discovered minor Chusos, but Kushina telling that he had a control like a bloodline. How could this even be? As Minato said, well, I'm not from a Yuki clan, and you are an Uzumaki. How could this even be? As Jiraiya speak up, if Naruto has it, then I bet that Menma and Mito also have it. As Tsunade only shook her head and said, well, we did made a blood test on both of them. Have you forgotten it? Menma did not inherit the Uzumaki bloodline, while on the other hand, Mito had it. You have forgotten it, Jiraiya, didn't you? As Jiraiya finally remembered as he gritted his teeth and scoffed and said, well, it does not matter. Does it now? I'm here for a specific reason, Minato. As Minato looked towards Jiraiya while still thinking about his firstborn, as he said, well, Minato, I have given the prophecy by the doors and it's telling me the time is getting near and near. And if Naruto is this strong, that which means that we are lacking on the training of Menma and Mito because both of them are the childs of prophecy and they should be by far stronger than anyone, which means that we are lacking at their training. I have finally made a decision that all four of us should train Menma and Mito to become even stronger than they are right now. As Minato looked towards Jiraiya, as then Kushina speak up, Jiraiya, I have finally realized my mistakes. As Menma and Mito, by all the training I have given both of them, they have become so arrogant that I don't even know the prophecy could ever be fulfilled by people like them. As Jiraiya looked towards Kushina in utter shock and surprise as he said, what, Kushina? What did you say? Are you telling me that Menma and Mito are, as Minato speak up, are arrogant, Jiraiya? I have seen both of them like it, and such an attitude could not be in a shinobi. They are so arrogant, thinking that they have the power of the 9 days and they could easily take down anyone. As Jiraiya said, well, they are the child of prophecy and they will become the strongest. As Kushina said, well, both of them were sweating at the bloodlust of Zabuza as well as Ramin, and they easily got knocked out by a Chunin level shinobi. As Jiraiya said, that is exactly my point then, Kushina. As Kushina said, well, that is not the main point, Jiraiya. You do not understand. It is not their skills, it is their arrogance. We are training them so hard. We are the strongest shinobi in the village, which is only making them, both of them, arrogant at the same time, and they are relying on the ninth chakra too much. If we still keep them trained in that aspect, they will not become the child of prophecy you're talking about, Jiraiya. And honestly, I'm even starting to doubt that if Menma and Mito are the child of prophecy. As Jiraiya became angry and said, "What now, huh? Do you think that Naruto is the child of prophecy?" But scoffing at the name of Naruto. As Minato speak up, "Alright, Jiraiya, that is enough. I have enough of you." As you want to train them? Then go ahead. I will not stop you to train them, but do not teach them anything which will only boost their ego. You can work on their skills like taijutsu and show them how a true shinobi actually fought. The way they are going, they will not go very ahead in their future as a shinobi. Now leave. As Jiraiya gritted his teeth and then simply cinched away, as Tsunade sighed and said, "Well, I have a feeling that Jiraiya is getting way too obsessed over the twins." As Kushina also sighed at that, as Minato said, "Well, Kushina, if it is true that Naruto has a bloodline of a Yuki clan, which means that, let's see, I have to inform this to the council, and we should have a council meeting and ask Naruto about this bloodline and all of these things." As Kushina nodded, as now we have a time skip as Naruto was standing as all the council was in front of him, as one of the elders speak up, "Uzumaki Namikaze Naruto." But then suddenly, if aura could be felt around Naruto, his eyes were simply twitching. It was not bloodlust, but the presence alone, which could be felt by all the shinobis, as Naruto only looked towards him. "My name is Naruto. Only Naruto. Do not call me Uzumaki Namikaze." Do I make myself clear by narrowing his eyes towards the elder, who simply gulped for some reason and said, "Alright, Naruto." As Minato sighed and said, "Alright, that is enough. Alright, Naruto, you are here for a specific reason." As Naruto looked towards Minato, "And what is going to be, huh?" As Minato said, "Well, we were informed that you have a control over ice, which is considered to be a bloodline. We want to ask you about this bloodline of yours." As Naruto simply yawned and said, "Well, it's about time you guys want to ask me about it. Well, if you want to ask me if I have a bloodline of a Yuki clan, then you are wrong. I do not have the bloodline of the Yuki clan." As Kushina speak up, "But Naruto, I saw you use the ice style, which is a bloodline of a Yuki clan." As Naruto said, "Well, you only saw me using the bloodline, which does not mean that I only have the Yuki clan bloodline, confusing many people." As Naruto speak up, "Well, I have other bloodlines as well." As which shocked everyone. As Minato said, "Other bloodlines? What are you talking about, Naruto? It is already a shock that you have a bloodline while your siblings, not just me or Kushina. Well, Kushina does have the Uzumaki bloodline." As Kushina pointed out that Naruto also used the chains. As and you also inherited it. But none of us has the bloodline of our style or other bloodlines. As Naruto smirked, "And what about this?" As Naruto opened his eyes, revealing the three Tomoe Sharingan, which shocked everyone in the council except Fugaku Uchiha, which was calm all of this time, who had a smirk on his face, thinking in his mind, while on the other hand, all the council members were in utter shock. While on the other hand, Kushina and Minato could not even speak a word. As Minato said, "What? The Sharingan? But how? How did you get the Sharingan, Naruto?" As one of the council members said, "Hey brat, did you stole that Dojutsu? How dare you?" As it was a civilian member, as Naruto looked towards him, putting him in a small genjutsu, and next moment he was on the ground, sweating hard, looking towards Naruto as if he's a Ninetales itself. As Naruto simply yawned and said, "Well, allow me to explain it, and never ever say that I stole anything from anyone. Even when I did not have a thing or a single penny in my pocket, I never stole, I only starved. And remember that I do not stole things from anyone." Which put a shame to Minato as well as Tsunade and Kushina, thinking of the time when they even forgot to give Naruto his allowance or even the food. He had to live on the streets for some time as well. As everyone looked towards Naruto and Minato said, "How do you have Sharingan, Naruto?" As Naruto speak up, "Well, it's pretty simple. I have only one Kekkei Genkai," which confuses everyone once again. As before, anyone couldn't say anything as Naruto put a hand towards them and stopping them and said, "Well, my Kekkei Genkai is simple. That you can say it How to put it? Copy? No, rather adoption. Yeah, that could be a great word for the bloodline. As Naruto said, well, it is simple. If my chakra came in contact with any other bloodline of any clan, it can even copy the, you can say, the specific chakra signature of that bloodline, making me giving the abilities of the same bloodline people. For example, when Itachi put me in a Genjutsu of the Sharingan, his chakra made contact with my own chakra. Thus, the signature of the, you can say, Itachi's Sharingan chakra was copied by my chakra, giving me the same dojutsu, as well as the same with the Yugi clan when he attacked me with his eye style. My chakra was able to absorb or rather copy the same amount, same type of chakra, giving me the same bloodline. You can call it a copy bloodline as well if you want to, that is, which really shocked everyone, leaving most of the people speechless. As Tsunade said, wait a minute, you're telling me that your chakra could copy the signature of other chakras? But how is that even possible? It simply could not be. In medical terms, as Naruto said, well, we live in a world where we can easily spit out fire from our mouth. So nothing is possible, Tsunade. As Tsunade only looked towards Naruto, which was a logical point. As in the shinobi world, nothing is impossible. As Naruto looked towards them and said, so, it should be done enough, huh? As then one of the shinobi, as Jiraiya, was also there watching everything as he was getting angrier and angrier at every moment. As he said, wait a minute, so you copy the bloodline of Uchihas, the Sharingan, you cannot have it. As Naruto said, well, Itachi was the one. I copied it from him, so he gave me permission. And the leader of the Uchiha clan has also agreed by pointing towards Fugaku, who stood up and said, well, my son informed me about this bloodline and I approve of Naruto having the name, or rather the Sharingan, but only on one condition, which surprises everyone. As he said, well, when Naruto founded his new clan, he has to add the Uchiha name at the end of it, because we cannot have a non-Uchiha having the Sharingan, which Naruto agreed on, as which really shocked everyone, as Fugaku got the one upper on the Hyuga clan, as a Hyuga clan member was gritting his teeth at that, knowing that now having such a powerful bloodline and Naruto having the name of the Uchihas, and in future he will copy over many bloodlines which he knew about, which was pretty obvious, as he will carry on the name of the Uchiha and making them stronger than the Hyugas, which really made him angry, and he cannot just ask Naruto to copy the Byakugan, which will not suit his, reputation and all. As Jiraiya said, wait a minute, if you have this bloodline, then Menma and Mito should also have it, right? As Tsunade sighed once again and said, Jiraiya, have you forgotten it? I have already given the reports to you. As Jiraiya said, well, it cannot be, you know that. They are the child of prophecy. They should have this bloodline as well, if this is so powerful. As Minato said, well, if you want to, then we can once again have a test, Tsunade. As Tsunade sighed and said, alright, I will have the test, but I doubt it. Even if they had this bloodline, having the Kyuubi's chakra inside of them should already destroy any bloodline to begin with. It is a miracle that, though it is only fair that Mito has the Uzumaki bloodline, which is pretty dominant of a bloodline. Other than that, all other bloodlines other than Dojutsu should have been destroyed by using the Kyuubi chakra. As Jiraiya gritted his teeth at that, as he looked towards Naruto with an angry glare, which Naruto could see that, but he did not give him any mind whatsoever. As then Itachi was also there smiling at his pupil, as Naruto looked towards them and said, well, if you guys have already done with this, can I leave? I have other things to deal with. As all of them looked towards him, as one of the elders spoke up and said, well, Naruto, what should be the name of your new clan, since we already know that you have been exiled from both Uzumaki and Namikaze clan? As Minato glared at Danzo, who was speaking this, as Naruto sighed and said, well, I have not thought about it for now. But what should be the name, huh? Well, that is depend on you guys. Tell me in the comment section what should be the name of Naruto's new clan. As one of the elder once again speak up, well, you have to be in the, let's see, CRA for expanding your clan in Konoha. As Naruto looked towards him and said, well, the CRA can stop until the time I reach the age 16. Isn't that the laws of Konoha? As the elder only shut his mouth, as Naruto said, well, I will think about it. Though in the end, it will only be my choice. As all of them simply nodded, not wanting to lose the bloodline, such a powerful bloodline from Konoha. As Naruto said, well, I have a training to do. After all, I'm going to enter in the Chunin exam soon enough, so see you later, huh? As he simply burst into butterflies and went off. As one of the as Shikaku Nara speaker, well, that is a cool jutsu. Wonder if I could do so. As all the shinobis only looked towards each other as then Minato said, well, that is truly a powerful bloodline. I never thought that my son will have it. As Kushina sighs, as while on the other hand Danzo was thinking how to get Naruto under his control, under his thumb. As on the other hand Jiraiya was thinking how to make Menman Mito even stronger than Naruto, because both of them are going to need all the power they can get against such a powerful bloodline. As he has copy over the Sharingan, who knows, he might even take control of Menma and Mito to do bad things, thinking that Naruto is a villain or something like it, as it is always fun messing with Jiraiya and all these people. As now, let us go on the training ground, or rather, let us have a time skip. Yeah, guys, tell me in the comments section that what should be the name of Naruto's new clan. It only depends on you guys. So, let us have a time skip of the Chunin exams. As I want to cover to the, who knows, the complete Chunin exams might be. Let's see about it in this part. As Naruto, as well as Mito, what was her name again? Sasuke and Kiyomi entered along with Itachi, as Itachi smiled at his team and said, well guys, are you ready for the Chunin exams? As Sasuke gave a smirk, arrogant smirk, and said, well, I'm ready for any challenge, as if there is anyone who can defeat an Uchiha elite. As Itachi simply sighed, as Kiyomi smiled and said, well, older brother, we are ready, we have trained all of this time. As Naruto gave a reassuring nod to Itachi, as Itachi nodded and said, alright, best of luck. As all three of them entered, as they saw that there were several Ganins trying to enter a room, as two people were simply stopping all of them, as Kiyomi simply laughed and said, well, such an obvious genjutsu, right? As Sasuke smirked, ready to point it out, but then Naruto put a hand towards him and said, stop it, Sasuke, let the weaklings went off, it will only decrease the competition and the annoyance. As Sasuke nodded, as all three of them started to walk away, and then suddenly a green blur arrived in front of all of them. As then he said, hey guys, my name is Rock Lee. As he looked towards all three of them and then looked towards Kiyomi as he smiled and said, well, you are the pretty princess of the Uchihas, right? Would you like to go on a date with me? As Kiyomi glared at Lee, while on the other hand Naruto's eyes were simply twitching at that, as she said, well, I would not go on a date with you. As Lee simply looked down and said, well, the main reason I arrived here, I heard that you're a pretty strong fighter, Uchiha Sasuke. As Sasuke looked towards Lee and said, so what about it, huh? As Lee said, well, I want to challenge you on a taijutsu battle, because I'm a taijutsu specialist. I want to see that how strong I have gotten in taijutsu. As Sasuke looked towards Lee and said, so you're a taijutsu specialist and want me to use only taijutsu? That does not make any sense. You do realize that, right? As Lee looked down, as Lee said, I never realized. Well, you can use your Sharingan if you want to. As Sasuke smirked and said, well, I'm ready for his challenge either way. As Sasuke smirked as he activated his 3 Tomoe Sharingan, as Lee smirked and said, here I come, as he leaped towards Sasuke with incredible speed, thinking that he's going to land a hit on the face of Sasuke as he vanished from everyone's eyes, reappearing behind Sasuke, ready to kick him on his face. But then he was in utter shock when Sasuke easily stopped the attack as he smirked and said, did you honestly believe that you will be able to escape my Sharingan, huh? As he looked towards Lee, as Lee simply vanished as he looked towards Sasuke and once again tried to attack Sasuke, but Sasuke was able to see all the attacks and exchange punches with Lee, though Sasuke realized that Lee hit pretty hard, but still he was keeping up with Lee, and they made some distance as Lee said, alright, guys, sensei, I'm sorry, but I have to do this. Vast gate, as he was about to open the gate, but then the turtle arrived stopping him and things started to happen, as Naruto simply laughed and said, well, Sasuke, using only taijutsu against him, well, I wonder who would have won. As Sasuke said, well, I would have obviously won against him. As Naruto simply laughed, well, you do realize that he's a taijutsu specialist, and a pupil of Taichu's specialist, the Green Beast of Konoha. When Sasuke heard that, he stopped for a moment. He heard stories about the Green Beast of Konoha. That how is a crazy guy and the crazy training regime he actually had. Even Itachi once or twice talked about that guy as a shiver got through his back when he realized the first time he met that guy and the youth nonsense he heard about, as he simply shook those thoughts out of his mind and said, "Alright, that is enough. We should leave, right?" As Naruto simply laughed, as well as Kyumi also giggled, and now they entered into the room as things started to play out the same. As Kabuto finally arrived, as he said, "Well, guys, you should really keep it down." As everyone looked towards him, as Kiba speak up, and "Who are you, huh?" As then Kabuto said, "Well, I'm a fellow Ganin of Konoha. Well, I have taken these exams 7 times, and trust me, I have failed all of them." As Kiba said, "Huh, well, you must suck, right?" As Kabuto said, "Well, these exams are really tough, but I do have information on each and every person right here." As then Kiba said, "Oh, really now?" As Sasuke, this intrigued everyone. As Sasuke looked towards Kabuto and said, "Huh, do you have information on everyone, huh?" As Kabuto nodded and said, "Alright, give me information on Naruto here." As then everyone looked towards Sasuke, who was looking towards Naruto, as Naruto raised an eyebrow towards him. As Kabuto said, "Alright, Naruto." As he noticed and said, "Yeah, here it is. Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze. Well, he's the son of the Yellow Flash, or rather known as Fourth Hokage, and Kushina Uzumaki, the Red Death. Well, the card gives us information that he ran away from his home at the age of 6, and he was missing all of this time, and he arrived back after all of these years to take the graduation exam, and he is the exam, and he is said to be pretty strong and done these missions 20 D rank and a mission which turns into a rank, also known as to be the one to defeat Zabuza as well as Ramin, an S rank shinobi." As everyone was hearing this, were in utter shock. As Kabuto also speak up and said to have chakra level which rivals Biju. But how? As everyone was now looking towards Naruto, as Naruto was thinking, "Great Sasuke, you reveal all the secrets here. But how did this guy got this information to begin with?" As they looked towards Kabuto and narrowed his eyes before Kabuto could say anything, as Naruto grabbed the card and started to look towards him and has the ability to copy other Kage guys. As Naruto simply said and then narrowed his eyes towards Kabuto, who was still confused. How did this guy and how he did not notice all of this? As Naruto simply burned the card. As Kabuto said, "What? Why did you do that?" As Naruto said, "Damn you, you have already revealed too much information on me to all of these cannons, and now I have to take care of all of them." As everyone looked around to see all the shinobis were simply looking towards him in surprise, specifically 3 shinobis who were glaring at him, as they were none other than shinobis from the Cloud Village. When they heard the name of Raven, that was known as the Storm of Kumo, as he was a Cloud Shinobi, and they were looking towards him. Flashback, as Naruto was eating ramen from a ramen stand along with Kiyomi, as well as not Sasuke, as Kiyomi and Naruto were eating ramen, and then 3 shinobis, or rather 4 shinobis, came inside. They were Kumo shinobis, as they were Samui, Yujito, Omui, as well as what was his name again? As Amui speak up, "Well, this is such a trash of a village. I did not get a simple thing in this village worth eating. I bet that this ramen thing is also going to be disgusting." As Naruto as well as Kiyomi also heard this, as both of them got pretty angry at that as Kyuchi arrived. "Well, what do you guys want, huh?" As asking for order, as then Amui said, "Hey old man, give us something to eat which is worth eating. I'm sick of eating such trash in this village of yours." As Naruto as well as Kiyomi look back, as Kiyomi speak up, "Hey you, cloud trash, what do you think worth mouthing our village here? If food here is not right, then you can go back to trash of a village of yours," which really made Omui pretty angry. As then Samui speak up, "Alright Omui, that is more than enough. You are bad mouthing things here way too much." As Amui glared at Kiyomi and said, "Hey you little bitch, who do you even think you're talking to? Do you think they're strong, huh?" Looking towards the headband and said, "Huh, a Konoichi, or rather a weak Konoichi of this village, honestly think that she's stronger than me, huh?" As she started to laugh and said, "Well, I will make you regret those words. As then Kiyomi said, well, someone who is as bad of looking as you, as ugly as you. Those are big words which really shock all the cloud shinobi as Dadoe simply took a step back and said, well, it is going to be troublesome. As Omoe eyes was twitching and said, you damn bitch. What did you say to me? I'm ugly? As she bring out her sword, now you will pay. As she swing the sword towards Kiyomi, who was ready. But then suddenly a hand stopped the sword in the in its way, as Naruto looked towards Omoe and said, well, little, listen to me, you cloud shinobi. You're right now in Konoha, and it is not wise to attack Konoha shinobi right here. You are the one who was bad mouthing village after coming to this village. You don't even know this village and the people here and the power the shinobi here held, and you dare attack us, huh? And after bad mouthing us, I advise you to get lost before we end your miserable life. As Omui grated her teeth and said, you damn bastard, do you think that I'm scared of you? Alright, you asked for it. As she started to push chakra in her sword, ready to cut Naruto's hand, but Naruto simply looked towards in her eyes and then snapped the sword like it was nothing, shattering it into pieces as Omui's eyes widened as she said, you are going to pay. As he tried to punch Naruto, but Naruto easily ducked under the punch and with a simple snap to her neck, knocking her out as Naruto grabbed her and then put her, you can say, towards her team and said, well, this one, it seemed to be pretty hasty, huh? As everyone from the Cloud village was glaring at Naruto. As Naruto looked towards Yujito, for a moment both of their eyes met as Yujito for some reason had a small blush on her face when she stared at the eyes of Naruto, but then her eyes narrowed and said, you, who are you, huh? And how dare you to attack us? As Naruto said, well, even you saw it, that it was your shinobi who attacked me first. So, I would advise you not to make trouble in this village. You may take it lightly in your village, but right here, people can easily kill each other on such things. So it is advisable not to bad mouth after coming to our village. I took it lightly, but there are shinobi who will kill you without a second thought. As Samui, before Yujito could say anything, Samui said, that is enough, Yujito. Let us go. It is Omui's fault and we know it. As all of them looked towards each other and nodded and took Omui away as Naruto sighed. As then Kyumi said, alright Naruto-kun, let us eat. As Naruto nodded, as both of them started to eat ramen. Once again, flashback ends. As all three, as Omui was simply glaring at Naruto as well as Kiyomi, as Naruto simply ignored her as well as her bloodlust, and then, after some time, the same thing happened. As, while on the other hand, in Konoha, everyone was pretty surprised but they did not pay it much of a mind because the proctor finally arrived and the test begins. Well, I'm not going to cover this part, let us go to the second part. As it was pretty easy, while on the other hand, Menma and Mito did not knew a thing about this whole test. But, well, was it Sakura? Yeah, I think it was Sakura I placed here. Or was it Sai? Well, I don't actually remember it, but was it? I think it was Sakura, yeah. It is going to be Sakura. As she was the one most genius of them, as both Menma and Mito were gritting their teeth as they were trying their best to come up with something, but in the end, the same thing still happened here as they were still able to pass because it was not a test of, information, but rather information gathering. So they were easily able to pass because they did not wrote a single thing there, though wrote something like crazy or who knows, who cares rather. And now let us go to the main fun part. Now it is going to be main fun from here on, as damn it, there's less of a time here as I wanted to enjoy this part of here. Let's see. As the third part, or rather the second part of the Chunin exam finally began, as finally Anko landed within the room and said, finally, so many teams, huh? Ibiki, it seems that you have lost your touch. As Ibiki simply scoffed and said, well, good luck with them. As Anko smirked and said, well, don't worry, I will cut these teams into halves in the finals. As she gave a, you can say, smirk to all the shinobis, giving most of them a small chill. As Naruto simply ignored and said, alright, let us begin. As all of them landed in front of the, the training ground 11, what was her name again? Whatever. As the forest of death. as she finally started to speak about the things which are going to happen here. Alright guys, here I will leave this part as my throat has become pretty dry here, but I might start to upload or rather record the next video as soon as possible, and I hope that you guys like this series as there were many side characters and side information I had to explain here. But in the next part we will have the more fun part as the fighting with Orochimaru, the Chunin exams, and the things so on. And from here on, I will try to make more fighting here because it often bore me as well. But for the next part, you guys have your goal as well. 170 comments and 400 likes. Do that, and I shall upload the next part as quick as possible. Who knows? I might even start record right here and right now. So it really does depends on you guys. So guys, peace, and peace.